So we made like the ultimate timing today because we had to go to the city, and when you live in the woods and you have children, it seems like everything takes a minimum of 3 hours. Everything, a minimum. Groceries, 3 hours. Going to the city, at least 3 hours. But today, we got home at 6:30. I got all my dishes washed. I got the baby fed. I went to change her up to put her in bed, and she peed all over her outfit. So I even got her cleaned up and changed. And in bed. And I even started a little laundry due to the peeing. Peeing requires laundry. So, record timing tonight. I'm just going to fix this little signature piece here before I start gluing. I'm not going to fix all my signatures tonight, but I am going to get this one done because I started it earlier and then I was beckoned by the forces of children. Seems like that is the force that always wins, right? The force of the child. Go into labor on the child's time. Dinner, child's time. Bed, child's time. Everything. Once you have kids, everything runs on their clock. So, just gonna quickly throw this one together because I don't like the staples. They are not strong enough to withstand gluing. Oh, see, I get stuck on little corners of things, and then my little strings end up flappy, and it makes me crazy. See, I'm stuck on a flap again. Get stuck in the corners. I just made a video. Hi, Gail. How are you tonight, my sweetheart? I'm just fixing a couple of my signatures because I stapled them. So, not like the big signatures, but the smaller ones that are inside of the big ones. So I'm just fixing them really quickly. I'm not going to fix all of them tonight, though, because I got to get to gluing. I've been dying to glue. I am dying to glue in this monster. But I stapled all of the small signatures, and I don't know what I was thinking, I guess, that they would hold up, but they're not going to. Not with thick papers like this. It's not going to withstand the abuse. So I at least have 2 signatures I can work in that are sewn now and not, the rest of them I got to sew. So, I got to sew the last 2, just the flips. I made a video today, but it just hasn't uploaded yet to do the, sewing them because I had somebody ask. So I should grab some sandpaper. Hello, Miss Susan. How is everybody tonight? I have a ton of pictures that I took out today to start gluing So let's get out 100 glue sticks. Right? You need 100 glue sticks. And pick a page, any page. We'll just go to where it naturally wants to go. Well, maybe we'll start with this flip, but I'm definitely going to have to sand some of the shiny down. Oh, I'm surviving also. Just living the dream, you know. Living the dream. Let's take my rag. So, find an image. I mean, this is just my small images that I took out. They're not even, these are like my not full pages. I went through all my images last night. So, pretty pumped. Pretty pumped. I'm going to throw a coat of gesso on this just to be safe. I've had so many things not stay glued to shiny surfaces, so let's see how this goes. How is everybody's week going? I hope that it's going well. I like this picture, but I have to trim that edge. Oh, I hear you, Gail. Today we had to go to the city to buy some oil. So, you know, everything around here seems to be like 3 hours, everything you do, because you're out in the country, plus you have children. So it's like everything is a minimum of 3 hours. And we got back, it was 6:30. I managed to get my dishes washed, the baby put in bed, cleaned up, put in bed. She was fed, and I started a little laundry. So, all before coming on. Is it Alice Cooper who sings that song? Because I know songs, I just don't know who sings them. Some of them I do, like some of the more distinct voices. Yeah, and the baby peed on the bed, on her changing pad. So I had to get her changed and cleaned up. Hello, Janet. Yep. So go and find something to do, okay? Thank you, sweetie. Yeah, you're my sweetie. Yeah. Oh, let's see. A rooster would be fun on this picture. How are you feeling, Janet? You getting any of your mobility back?
Mom, Million. Come out.
I did see what you wrote, and I couldn't remember who sang that song.
Stay out here. Quiet. Don't talk to you.
Oh, I will, Susan. I will. Let's see. Yeah, that's like the hardest thing. My brother broke his ankle, and I remember how it was for him, for months to do anything, It's like takes forever when it's a part of your important bones. You need ankles, you need feet. You could even get away with like a leg maybe because you could put it in a cast and just crutch yourself around, but you don't realize how much you need your feet. Let me get in frame so you can see my I really like the sunset, so I'm going to try and keep the sunset as much as I can. But I don't feel right when I just glue one picture down on a page. So I have to embellish it a little. Oh, Gail, I bet. That's a nightmare. My mom's dealing with that right now. She has a torn tendon, I think, in her knee. And she just had surgery on her neck. So it's like, it is like never ending, Thank you very much, Julia. I'm so glad that you like them. There will be more. I went through all my images and I found a bunch more to start some more books. Stopping by. Janet, that is awful. I have never broken any bones either, luckily, knock on wood, but I have. Actually, I take that back. I do think I broke a toe one time on a rock. Stubbed it when I was barefoot. Which is so brilliant, right? Barefoot in the woods, but I didn't care. I was a kid. But it still hurts from time to time. The toe still hurts. So I do think that it's broken. And I've never torn anything, but I definitely knees and my wrists, and I've had that for ages. I have had that for ages. My wrist started acting up when I worked in hotels, and all I did was make beds for days, just days. You know, we'd have busy periods, and what they did was they had one housekeeper go around, make all the beds, and then another housekeeper go around and wash all the bathrooms. So I was always stuck doing beds, and my wrists would just start killing me, and I wouldn't be able to move them, you know. So I definitely think that is tendonitis, because it's still like they bother me now, even, you know, they bother me still. I like that guy, and I like this. So those are some things that I'm going to probably not change much on. But I might be able to find somebody. I got to get into the zone here. I've got to find something that jumps out at me. Let's see. I have this blank canvas right here. Maybe a blank canvas will help. Because like I could fussy cut a flower. Yeah, Janet, that's really all, you know, is to take it easy, and whatever exercises the doctor tells you to do, make sure you do them. That's all I can tell you about broken bones or sprains or tears. Whatever you have to do for a physical therapy, make sure you do it. If not, it heals all weird, and my father is living proof of weird healing. Well, he's no longer living, but he was living proof. Yeah, they killed. My wrists were like in rough. There have been times. There was one time, which tells me it's tendonitis, that it was bothering me for days and days. It's usually during the season changes. It'll bother me for days. And we were loading cordwood into the back of my truck, and I did something that snapped my wrist back, snapped my hand back, and it hurt for a split second, and then all of a sudden it started to feel so much better. Like it just all of a sudden, just like that snap, you know, because it tightens the tendons or something, gets locked. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. It's like they get locked in place. Alrighty, Janet. Have fun. I'd say don't run after her too much, but I don't think we'll have to worry about that. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Exactly what happened, Susan. I banged it like it snapped, you know, backwards. And it hurt for a second, but then it just felt so much better. Pretty flower. See, some of this is like, I'm afraid it's gonna rip, but you know, then I think about it. We'll do something on here. Move my book over again, right? This thing is like bigger, it's like larger than life. I like the idea of just putting a image on with the paint colors. So has anybody else been gluing or creating or journaling? Since the holidays? Awesome, Gail. Yeah, it's I do like the slowdown after Christmas, you know, when you kind of settle into winter and just ride it out. You can do stuff like this because you're not spending a whole lot of time outside, and unless you live in Florida, then you could probably spend time outside. Or in the desert, you know. Spend time outside in the desert. Hello, Miss Trish. Yes, I know. I'm ruthless in my rules and regulations. And then when you switch it to, if you go from top chat to live chat, it changes it again. And then every time you close out of the chat and go back into it, it says it every single time. Every single time. Drives me nuts because especially when I'm in someone's, you know, stream, right? And you have to look at all their Nightbot stuff. Then you also have to look at that every single time the window opens. It's like, you can't catch up on what people are saying because everybody is just everything. Hey, check it out. American tuna. You can't catch up to what people are saying because you have everybody else barking at you. You know? What have you been up to lately, Trish? I haven't seen you. I have not seen you around. You just drop off the face of the earth. Yeah, this started like I don't know, a month ago, maybe a few weeks ago. The stupid thing it says every single time. And then YouTube, like, they've really cracked down on things you say. And yeah, I don't blame you there, Susan. I had to start doing that when I had a cat and I was crocheting. I started to put my yarn in those like Clorox tubs because the cat would go after my yarn every single time I'd start crocheting. So, you know, do we want tuna fish on top of Pennsylvania? I don't know. I don't know how I feel. I hear you, Trish. Always, you know, here we'll put tuna fish with the fish, right? Right there. We'll cover all this up with tuna fish. Yeah, that life crap. Trust me, I get it. And Shelly hasn't been streaming because she had pneumonia. And I don't think she's still 100%. I think she's still, you know, it seemed to take a lot out of her. I messaged her a couple weeks ago and, you know, told her to just take it easy. And, you know, it was probably her body's way of just cleansing itself after dealing with all the stuff she dealt with last year. You know, and she said that she's just been coughing a lot. So I'm like, yeah, I get that. Let's see. What other images do I have here? I love these barrels. We must place the barrels. After I move my little stringy dingies here. Susan, you're so lucky that it was all over the house and that the cat didn't eat it and then like have to deal with it pooping it out and the thread getting stuck. I had that with my dog all the time. That dog would eat stuffed animals like it's toys, and then we've had to do some really nasty surgical things to try and get him out. But I ended up having to, he was a bulldog, and he had some aggression issues towards men, so I ended up having to give him away, and it worked out wonderfully because I gave him away to a wonderful lesbian couple. I'm like, this couldn't be any better. I was just afraid with the baby, you know. I mean, he'd never ever done anything to me, but he had snapped at a couple of guys, and I just couldn't deal with that. Yeah, it is a funny picture. There are like some things in life that are just awful, and pulling a monkey's arm out of a dog's butt is one of those things. Or a dryer sheet is also right up there with terrible things in life that you might have to endure if you decide to be a pet owner. So if you're thinking about getting a dog, just know we have to pull stuff out of his butt. Oh, I have pictures for this page. I have stuff. I'm telling you, I have stuff. No, Trish, you know what? Like, I completely have no problem at all if you're an animal person and you know, you love your pet, and I get that. They're part of your family. But I don't trust any animal at all around my children. I even have a cat, right? She is the daughter of another cat that I had, and both of them just the sweetest animals you'd ever meet. But still, I just don't trust animals with kids. Any animal. I don't care how nice you say the animal is with kids. They're still an animal. I had, you know, chickens. I had a rooster that attacked Lil once. That was it, you know. That was it for the rooster. It only takes one time. Yeah, I mean, you know, my family, they're really big on the dogs, and I try and tell them every single time, don't try and force the dogs on my kids, because, you know, Lily is afraid of dogs, and I don't care that she's afraid of dogs. That's fine. It's better than her wanting to go up and pet every single one that she sees, you know? So I'm like, I tell them, I say, don't force the dogs. Don't force them. Because I just can't have something happen, you know? Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, like even with this cat, sometimes Lily gets crazy with her or something, and I'm like, and will hit her or not realize it, you know? And I say to her, I say, listen, you can't do that. You can't just do that with animals, you know? It's a different story if you got to defend yourself, but, and she gets it, you know, and she stops. I don't have to tell her twice usually with most things, but with animals, like I really try and drill it into her head. And when the baby gets big enough, her too, because this baby, she's going to be a risk taker. She's not even walking in. She was trying to climb up the step ladder the other day while I was using the step ladder. She was trying to climb up the step ladder. So she is going to be like my daredevil. So I'm going to have to really keep an eye out on her. You know, but I feel like today, the way that not everybody, but the way that some people are with their pets, if their pet attacked my kid, they wouldn't own up to it. You know, it would be the kid's fault every time. They treat their animals like people too often. And that to me is just not cool because that dog doesn't think he's a person. He thinks he's a dog. And he's going to be an animal, you know? He's going to act like an animal. Yeah, Gail, my oldest, is like so cautious and so timid. And then the baby, stepladder, I can conquer that, you know? I can conquer that stepladder. Watch me, she says. And then you tell her no, and she like looks up and smiles like, yeah, right, Ma. Today, she pulled all of these wooden things down off of a shelf onto her, and she didn't even cry. She just sat there and looked at me like, hey, look what I did, haha. I'm like, you oughta give you a knuckle sandwich. She's gonna be my troublemaker. I can just feel it. I can just feel it. My troublesome. She'll be the one I'm bailing out of jail. They say the second child is the troublemaker. That's what I read. That is what I read. And that better not be the case. I am not going to put up with any troublemakers in my house. I gotta cover up these words. I don't care that a toast awaits on Michael DePerno and Andrew Fry's Connecticut screened porch. Who cares? I don't care. I used to live in Connecticut. There's nothing exciting out there. Actually, the one thing I do miss is the old houses. And I mean old, like 1600s houses. I miss those. You know? And the weird little things from those old houses, like the weird little quirky things. I had a friend who lived in a mid 1700 farmhouse, and it was huge, and there was probably like 1,000 little rooms. Connecticut is beautiful. There are some beautiful, beautiful things in Connecticut. It is an expensive place, but it is beautiful. But like this farmhouse, right? I'll never forget it. It was the only house I'd ever seen like that. You walk up the stairs, and you know how like you'll walk up a flight of stairs and there's a little landing, and then you go up another flight of stairs. Well, on that landing was a door that led to a bedroom. But the bedrooms are small. Like they're not big. But then randomly there's like a huge room in the attic. And then off of that, it's like 3 or 4 more little rooms. You know, it was nuts. And it was a big house. I mean, the house was big. Beautiful. You know, I wish I could have a house like that. It was huge. It's just beautiful. Beautiful house. And they were dairy farmers. Those people they farmed it. They used it. They had like a couple hundred acres and they farmed it there. I had some National Geographics from the 70s, and I really love some of the pictures. Like, how gorgeous is that? Underneath a bridge. Let's see if that'll fit on here. Yeah, it should be okay, right? That should be okay. If I have to trim some of the bottom off, who cares about these lights? Who cares? Who cares? No, you're right. And you know, they didn't really have storage. Like even in my house now, it's 1920. I have 2 closets. One of them is under the stairs and one of them is in that same hallway. But the second closet was added on a few years ago. It's definitely not original to the house. So it used to just be one closet under the stairs. So I think what they did was they probably used some of these old little rooms just for storage. Like that's just, one bedroom, the one big room had 3 or 4 small rooms. That's probably where they put everything, in those little rooms. And the kitchen was very small kitchen, because they had different rooms for everything. One of the houses the house I grew up in and then later owned was a 2-family house, and it had been a 2-family house for a long time, but part of it had been built in the 1700s. And what they did, like for the bathrooms, they had a toilet in a closet, and then in a separate little room was a washroom with a shower or whatever, and then against a wall someplace else was a sink. They plaster everything up there with horsehair. They make it into a plaster. So you used this liquid, like a liquid, I think it was to block the water from getting into the plaster, and it was green. And I know this from tearing out tons of horsehair plaster. But when you have no idea how many walls just randomly had the green stuff that signified that there was water there. There was a sink or something. So it's like they must have had sinks just everywhere. Yeah, they weren't hoarders like us. See, the air conditioning thing I could live without. I could definitely live without air conditioning. I definitely do not need air conditioning. It's nice in the summer, now that I'm like fat, when you get fat, you really like air conditioning. But I hate the feeling of air conditioning. I never had an air conditioner until a few years ago. I bought my first air conditioner, a few years ago. My house has central air because of where we are. But I definitely can live without it. I could definitely live without air conditioning. I could probably live without the heat too. Like, we had really bad wind last night, so all of the wind was blowing against the wall, the outside wall where we have to redo the wall. So the cold air is getting in. The wind is blowing, and all the curtains we have hanging up are moving. And so the thermostat, the heat just ran nonstop, and we have forced hot air, so it's just hot air blowing around my house. And it dried my eyes out and my nose. I was like ready to fall asleep. I'm in North Carolina. I am in North Carolina. I don't think I'm going to put anything else on this page. I think I like this page just the way it is. Just like this. Yeah, Trish is in Florida. I might find some words. Maybe some words. Ooh, Indiana. Yes, you are in the cold territory. Let's see. The hard part is finding images to fit the small little things, I drove through Indiana to get to Michigan. I'll probably do some fussy cutting. I like doing that at night when I'm hanging out. But last night, I only had enough time to go through all my images. Can you believe it? I went through all of them. Except for the ones that I have organized into folders. Is it buffering? Sorry about that. Silly internet.
Oh, God,
When you live in the woods, that's what you get. And we are expecting snow this weekend, which I don't mind. I don't mind a snowy day. I don't mind one once in a while. That one last month, it got kind of annoying. We ended up getting 18 inches, which is like our entire snowfall for the season around here. So we were stuck in our house for 3 days. Fortunately, we didn't lose power. We do know people that lost power for, a day or two. And if we did lose power, it wouldn't have been the end of the world. I just wouldn't have running water. I don't know about you, but I like toilets that flush and work properly. And I also like showers, and I like sinks. I know, Janet. Like that's my only hope is that I can keep my power. I like this page, and I kind of want to glue it to something and make all of these little pockets, right? I think I'm going to do that with this instead. Let me put that aside and find something else. These people with the frying pan. Gail, I'm at the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains. If you watch Melissa Bishop, 70 Acre Studio, she is in the mountains. And last night it was like 20 degrees colder there than it was here. She's like, oh, it was warm today in the 40s. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was in the 60s here, and you're only a couple hours from me. So it's really funny how different the weather is. Yeah, I need running water. I'm sorry. I belong to a civilized society where we don't poop in holes in the ground, okay? I like toilets, flushing ones. And I like sinks, running ones, so that I can wash my dishes. And you know what else I like? Really big benefit? Hot water. I can boil water on my gas stove, but it's just not the same as the instant on hot water. Not the same. But at least I can cook if we lose power, because my stove is from the early 1900s. So my stove is all gas and it has no electrical components at all. You know, I really like this picture. I would like it better if I cut it straight from the beginning now, instead of this like super not straight cutting. Exactly, Susan. We belong to a day where just about anybody can say just about anything and have half the world read it. Let's see. This is going to hang off a little bit, but that is a-okay. We live in a day where everybody can be offended all the time. And our beautiful society tries to ease the minds of every single offended person at every single moment of every single day, no matter what they're offended about. I moved the wrong side. No, I'll just fold it over. No, you are right there. And in order to keep peace, I will say, honestly, I don't think that any of them really care much at all. Just care about their image. And that's really all it's about, is their image. And that's really just about for everyone. Big companies, politicians. It's like we live in a world now where everybody is out for themselves. And that's that. That's it. That is it. Nobody, nobody helps each other anymore. Everybody's always got to be looking over their shoulder. Your children, your children have to be attached to you at all times. Like, I get so nervous whenever Lily gets out of my sight and then come to find out she's just right on the other side of me. But it's like for that split second, I'm like, poof, frazzled. And I look at every single person that's around us, like, who's giving us weird looks and who looks like a pedophile and who looks like a murderer. It's like, it's all that goes through your head when you have kids this day and age. And it's just about money. It's all about money. Everybody is about money. It just makes you think, like, what are we doing to the world that my children are going to live in, are going to grow up in, And that's why I art, so that I can get away from the world for a little while. The whole world is just me and a glue stick and some paper. I started undertaking this gigantic project of a book that I've decided to make out of manila folders. So what the book is going to be is a die cut supply book. I want to put all of my die cuts in it because I enjoy die cutting and I like to do them in bulk so that I have a lot to choose from at any given moment. And I am taking the manila folders because I want them to be a little bit thicker, and I'm covering them in paper. Tons of paper. Book pages, scraps, you name it, I'm putting it on there. And then I figured I'd paint it all like, with pastel colors over it. So if you watch Lori Marie Jenkins, it's almost like I'm putting on some underpants. And then I'm going to just paint, just a light coat of paint over all of it, just to get rid of all of the mishy-mashy pictures. And I am going to make gusseted pockets. I figured most of them will probably be gusseted to put the die cuts in, because I don't know about you, but my die cuts are like everywhere. Yeah, I'm going to do a video. I'm going to do videos of the book, just not in the stage that I'm at right now because it's boring. I mean, all I'm doing right now, gluing little pieces of paper to these folders because I have no brain in my head. So I'm doing it this really hard way. Like I have 21 folders that I'm doing, and it's going to take me 300 years. I'm just kidding. I'm almost done with all of them on one side. So I just have the other side to do, and it's just going to take me 100 years to do it. Look at that. That picture perfectly covers all those words, but this is kind of glossy, so I'm going to go ahead and take my good old sanding block that I've already lost somewhere under this monstrosity. Yeah, same here, Susan. You know, and like I get involved in die cut swaps all the time, and I don't know why, because when I start die cutting, like I just can't stop. So all other projects go out the window for like a day, and I just spend the whole day die cutting. So I'm involved in a swap. So I have to get a whole bunch of die cuts done. I have to get 50 of them done by the end of the month. And I said, well, you know what? I have to get 5 different designs, 10 of each. So I'm going to do designs that I don't have a lot of, you know, and then everybody's going to have to suffer. Like, oh, you didn't want a bird? Tough crap. I don't have a lot of birds, so you're getting all birds. But yeah, I don't like to have to stop and cut something in the middle, especially if it's like an embellishment that I just feel stupid doing, that I feel stupid to just stop and do it. And so I'll say, oh, well, I'll do it later. And then I never do. You know how it goes. You just never end up getting to it. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I wanted to put a bird there. And now it looks like, you know. So yeah, I like to get my die cutting done in bulk. But I want it to be able to add to this book. So I'm going to put baggies in there too. You know, so I could binder clip baggies, especially if I'm getting die cuts from a swap. I'm not going to have those dies, right? So what I'm going to do is I am going to just make baggies out of sheet protectors because I got tons of those. I need a texture on here. So, you know, I'm going to make them out of sheet protectors. So I have some clear envelopes, you know, especially for swap things that I'm not going to have all the time. And then I will use regular gusseted pockets that I put a picture of the die cut on the front. You know, one of the dies I'll put on the front. And I'll put a picture, you know, of the die on the front of the pocket so that I can always go into that pocket and know what I'm getting right there. You know? But I don't want to use just Ziploc bags because they're not that thick. So I have a ton of sheet protectors that I am never going to use all of them. So I figured I would cut some down and make pockets to put some in that are clear. Yeah, like window envelopes. Alrighty, Gail. Have a nice supper. That's like what I figured. Only what I have. If I have window envelopes, I'll use those. If I have, you know, that's just for my temporary die cuts. Like I was watching Shannon Green and she made a supply journal, which I thought was cool for your scraps. If I didn't have a giant pizza box full of scraps, that would be awesome. You know, which I am going to dwindle that box down this month. That's one of my goals this month is to use up that box. So my manila folders that I'm that I am reinforcing, that's going to go into, those scraps, the ones I'm never going to use on paper, are going to go onto those folders to be reinforcers. Hello, Jennifer. How are you on this lovely evening? But the glued paper, between the paper and the glue, it really is reinforcing those folders. Like, they're much thicker just with one coat. Jennifer, I wanted to ask you, what ended up happening? What did you end up doing with that cat? Didn't you take in a cat that you were having a problem with him spraying? Oh, I'm so glad you like my vids. Yeah, I'm a gluer. I'm like, my vids are kind of boring. All I do is sit there and glue. I'm like, wait, I like to watch people glue. I love watching Carla. She is like, she's so calm and methodical. She doesn't try and whip through it. You get to see her entire process. She tells you her entire process as she's going through it, which I just love. I just love that about her. And I just love, how she knows exactly what she likes. So she's very particular points of what she likes. And I want to try and use up some of my texture pages too. I have a whole box full of just my textures, and they are so much, like, it's overwhelming the amount I have in there. So this book is good for that. These little pieces here, put a nice picture up against it, right? And then I have my box of little itty bitty things. I can go in and glue some little itty bitty things. I didn't get out my little itty bitty things, and I meant to too, but now I got a folder on top of that box I'd have to move in order to access it. And I kind of have to sort through my little itty bitty things to sort really teeny weenies and somewhat teeny weenies. You know how it goes. You should definitely get him fixed, but one thing to keep in mind, he might not stop spraying. At least he seems to be. If he's taking to you guys, that's great. And he's gonna hate your dogs for a while. That's gonna go without a doubt. But he might not stop spraying in the house. If he's already sprayed in one spot, he might keep spraying in the same spot. But if he's good to you guys, then he'll get used to the dogs. It's just the way it is. They're just gonna have to get used to each other. And they will. I had a cat who hated dogs, and when I got my dog, he hated that dog. Oh, good. Yeah, he's, the hormones are really bad if they're not escaping. But I had a male cat who still sprayed after we got him fixed. because once he found one spot to spray in, he kept going back to that spot to mark his territory. But I'm so glad that he, he's friendly and you were able to rescue, you're able to rescue an animal. We have so many stray cats around here. My female cat, she is not fixed, but I think because she's really small, she's like really small. Her mom was also small, but her mom had a couple of litters, but this is her daughter, and the daughter is really small, and I think that she goes into heat, but she hasn't gotten pregnant, so maybe she can't. I don't know. She's been small since she was born. She was the runt. Yeah, that's pretty much what. A lot of patience in rug cleaner, but what a saint you are to rescue. I just I just think that rescuing is just wonderful with how many animals there are in this world without homes, and I mean, we have stray cats. They show up all the time here, and then people drop dogs off out here because we are out in the country, and you can drop your dog off and we'll live on some farm. Well, you know what? Not everybody wants your dog. We had one that came around here. My neighbor, I say that, but my neighbor did end up taking this dog, and he turned out to be a really good dog, and I'm glad. We've had other ones that went after our chickens, and luckily they didn't hang around very long, and they moved on to better things once they realized they weren't getting fed out here. Aw, that's great. I rescued, there was a family of cats living in a shed, I guess, underneath a shed behind a gas station. And I rescued those cats. It was a mother and her babies, and it was in Massachusetts, so it was freezing cold in February. And I rescued her and the babies. And luckily, I had a friend who took them all at once because she loved cats and she was catless at the moment. And it was a mom and 4 babies. But like my cat, she's just an outdoor cat, and she loves just being outdoor. She won't even come inside. Oh, I know. And I saw that happen recently. Like, not saw somebody leave their pet, but we saw a couple of dogs that were left up in the mountains. The last trip we took up in the mountains, actually, it was like the end of the summer, and you could tell those dogs were just dropped out there in the mountains. I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad. Like, if I ever got another dog, I would get a little dog. I wouldn't get another big dog. Because big dogs, they're just big. They're just big dogs. But yeah, people drop their dogs all the time out here. Not all the time. I mean, since we moved in, we've had probably 3 or 4 dogs show up in the neighborhood. They just show up out of the blue, so you know where they came from. Yeah, and you have to be careful with that too, because rabies. And I mean, especially like out here in the country, people don't get their animals rabies shots. Are you kidding me? People find a dog for free somewhere, get the dog and bring it home, or cat or whatever, bring it home, and then that's the end of that. Rabies shot, what is that? Nobody's going to pay whatever it is, $60, I think they are now, to get a rabies shot. Yeah, if you don't want a pet, don't get a pet. But don't get a pet and abuse it. Oh, that's fine, Susan. That's how I was last night. Every stream I went into, I just kind of hung out because I was, gluing all those little pieces of paper. Do you like having a Yorkie? I have a friend who has a Yorkie, and the dog is already 11 years old, and she is like the cutest thing. She's like so sweet. I think if I got another dog, it would be something like a Yorkie.
You only knew if you could be walking through right there for dyes and chemicals, you wouldn't be in there. Yeah.
Oh, that's scary. That is scary. Rabies is like no joke. Yeah, I would like a Yorkie. I mean, I just know that first of all, they're good with kids. If I got one, that's what it would be. It would be a Yorkie. I just know lots of people who have them with children. And I mean, I know that any dog could be bad, but I've heard good things about the Yorkies. Yeah, that's my big thing. I have allergies, and I didn't realize just how bad they were until I had a dog and a cat in the house. And my allergies were like non-stop, crazy. I would get, head cold feeling. Which is a big deal. The hypoallergenic aspect is a pretty big deal for me. And I don't know, my kids might end up being allergic to animals. Who knows? I didn't know I was allergic to animals when I was a kid. Yeah, that's what I would do. When the kids get older. I have a friend too who has guinea pigs, and she swears by guinea pigs for kids. I mean, the way I think of it now is like, my kids are enough work. Yeah, they're pretty popular dogs. You're not going to find one in a rescue, especially not around here. The way the animal shelters have become around here is just, they're overfull, and when we had that one of those dogs that got dropped here, we called them. We said, what do you do about this? Like, I have kids and I have chickens. So, I can't have this dog just running around my property. And they say, oh, well, there's nothing we can do, but if it gets aggressive, just shoot it. That's what they said. When I had my cat, as strange as this sounds, okay, he had long hair, and I'm allergic to cats, long hair cats especially. We shaved him. We bought one of those buzzers, and believe it or not, we had to shave him. He would choke on the hair in his neck when he was trying to eat. So we had to shave him, and it actually made my allergies better. It actually helped shaving the cat. So if he is long-haired, then you could probably get away with shaving him. And it might help if your allergies start to act up. I know. That's what they said. I was like, oh my God. Luckily, my neighbor ended up taking that dog. He wasn't aggressive, but a few times he came up on my porch and took my cat's bowl and dragged it down the road. There was no food in the bowl. I don't know why he decided to do that. We don't feed our cat, like we don't leave food out there because of the possums. So we just feed him some at a time. And mostly we feed him, and she doesn't even want food that we give her. Like, I don't know what her problem is. She doesn't even like what we feed her. I know, it's so funny you say that because I feel like all white cats are like that. We had a stray white one that was coming around here back when I had Mama Cat. And he would sit on our porch and we'd open the door. He was really friendly, so he must have belonged to someone. He would come up to us like purring super loud. All white cats, I think, purr super loud. I think it's a white cat thing.
Want the rest of your burger? Want that for you? Want it cold? You sure?
White cats are loud purrs, and then that cat disappeared too. Like they come when she's in heat, and then they would show up when she's in heat, and then they'd be like, no, see ya. White cats have loud purring mechanisms. Like he'd be across my porch and I could hear him. Yeah, we don't kill possums. We just got rid of we just stopped putting the cat food out because I'd rather the possums eat stuff like that than to show up on my porch and just eat the cat food and then go home because the food is easy. I'd rather them be out and getting all that stuff, like the ticks and stuff. Yeah. No, I completely we don't do anything to the possums. And believe it or not, out of all the years that we've lived here now, I have never seen a raccoon here. But like people go coon hunting on my neighbor's land. And I'm like, what are you getting? Because I have not seen any raccoons. I have not seen any signs of raccoons, like trash and stuff. I have not seen anything like that. I've never seen a raccoon in the cat's food or in the food we leave out. They are ugly and they are not afraid. Like we had we had a possum up on the porch eating my cat's food at night one night, right? We pulled in the driveway. So my headlights, first of all, are shining right on him, right? And he's huge. And we used to put the cat's food. We have this little freezer outside and we used to put the food bowl on top of the freezer. And he's up there on the freezer, just looks at the headlights like whatever. We had to actually walk up to him before he was like, oh, I guess I'll take off now. And he didn't even. He just kind of like moped away. Hello, Lori. We have guinea hens. We didn't rescue them. We were given some guinea hens from a couple that we know that's neighbors were complaining about them. So she gave us 5. I think that one of them was a female, and with the big snowstorm we had last month, one of them got hit by a car the day after the snowstorm because they're not afraid. Guinea hens for you in the road. No. They'd rather sit there and peck at the road and get run over than to do something like move from a moving vehicle, right? Who would do that? So I think the only female guinea hen that we had got hit by a car last month, and now I just have these males, but they are funny and they are dumb. Wow. They're dumb birds. I thought my chickens were a little on the stupid side, but no. These guinea hens make the chickens look like total geniuses. The chickens are totally brilliant compared to the guinea hens. So I don't even have a female, so I'm not even going to get babies in the spring. So if I ever find anybody that's got a flock of them they're getting rid of, I'll take them, because out here in the country, nobody cares about the guinea hens, you know. I like this picture, and I want to keep all of the writing with it. Somebody scribbled something there and scribbled something there. This is Ernest Hemingway, by the way, hanging out, and I love this picture. So I'm not going to put it right there. Find another picture to put there. But yeah, if you want some funny birds, wow, luckily ours don't attack. We don't have attack hens. We're just dumb. So when we had 5 of them, we used to call them the Five Guys, since we thought they were all boys at first, but one of them definitely made a different noise than the rest. So I assumed that was a female, because, you know, females do yell and scream much differently than men do. But no, then that one got hit. They're loud and obnoxious. They yell at everything. My neighbor showed up one day, and actually yesterday my neighbor showed up, and, you know, it took like 10 minutes for the birds to be like, hey, a person, let's yell at it. Let's yell at this person, you know. Well, way to be good attack birds. You know. They are funny, though. Like, they'll follow me to the mailbox, and they'll follow me to the mailbox, yelling and screaming their loud, ugly guinea scream, right? But then as soon as I start walking towards them, they run. Like, they start to come after me, you know, all authoritative bird-like. But then as soon as they're confronted, they're like, nope, 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 nope. I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But what I am excited for is for them to eat all of the bugs off of my crops this summer, because we have bugs that show up. We got the potato beetles. They ate all my grapes last year. They ate potato plants last year. And I'm just not going to put up with that. I am just not going to put up with that. And they love potato beetles, and they love bugs off without ruining the plants. So win-win. Get rid of those. Get rid of those suckers. You know, and like out here in the country, there's no buffer for bugs. You know, you're in the country. The bugs, they show up and they eat through everything. If only the guinea hens went after deer, then I would be happy. Yeah, and the ticks too, because, you know, your grass gets a little bit long, and guess what the grass is full of? You know? Your grass grows 4 inches, and guess what you're going to be covered in the second you walk through it? Ticks. You're going to be covered in ticks. I love fresh veggies too, Janet. They are like my life. You know, and I didn't get a good selection of fresh veggies last year. We got some corn. Believe it or not, the deer did not eat the corn. I had weird little grub things in my corn that ate it more than the deer did. So this year I'm hoping for a repeat of no deer in the corn. And I don't want any bugs on my potatoes. I still have a cellar full of potatoes. And I want to grow the rest of my garden. I want my tomatoes and my peppers and especially zucchini. Now that I'm eating zucchini noodles in bulk, you know, because I just bought zucchini at the store, and man, it sucks this time of year. It is like lousy. And the skin falls off so easily this time of year. Like you touch it wrong and your finger goes through, like your fingernail scratches the skin off. It's just lousy. What I'm thinking about doing actually is setting up. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna build a fence around 2 of our gardens. I'm not gonna worry about the potato garden as much because the deer, they don't seem to care about the potato plants. I mean, we're still gonna keep an eye out, and if they do start to care, we're gonna do something about it. But I want to, I do want to build a fence, and I want to try growing vegetables in my basement. As weird as this sounds, we have a friend who just had this never-ending supply of tomatoes and cucumbers from plants that he brought into his basement after the summer ended and just put them under a regular light bulb. I mean, I would buy grow lamps for them, Like I feel like a druggie. I'm gonna grow illegal vegetables in my basement. Just don't tell the feds, man. I grow illegal veggies, man. Watch, YouTube's gonna be like, nope, kicked off. You said a bad word. You said drugs on a live stream. I know. Basement zucchini, dudes. Like that guy that showed up to my live stream that was like a troll. Is this real life, man? Is this real life? Are these real vegetables? I bought at Walmart the other day in the freezer section, they had a bag of sliced peppers and onions, frozen. And it was like, $2 for a huge bag. So I can't wait to try them because I'm always looking for peppers and onions to throw in things. I don't know about you, but I love like sauteed chicken and some olive oil and garlic with peppers and onions, and then you put it over pasta. You do anything with it and it tastes wonderful. So I bought it in the freezer section. So I'm going to see how it tastes because frozen veggies are way better than canned stuff, Yeah, Lori, I'm going to grow the good green stuff, man. That zook. That's not going to go there. That is not going to go there. This can go here, though. So, yeah, I'm excited to try these frozen peppers and onions. I mean, in some cases, frozen veggies are better than fresh because they freeze them at just the right point in their grow cycle. So they're not going to be underripe and they're not going to be overripe. I watched a whole show about it, about the freezing process. So if I watched it on TV, it must be true, right? Must be real life. Must be real. But I like frozen veggies. I do a lot. I like frozen broccoli. I like doing chicken and broccoli. I just do a lot with chicken. I'm getting hungry now talking about food. Yeah, like, I cook a lot of what I cook, I freeze. I just froze like 2 big tubs of spaghetti sauce, and I have chicken soup out there. And I think we went through all the turkey soup, but I've had some turkey soup. I make my own hot dog chili. Janet can appreciate that. I'm sure Jennifer can appreciate it too. I'm sure you do a lot of chili on things. So I designed my own hot dog chili recipe because I put chili on my burgers. I freeze that in small quantities. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I do a lot of freezing what I make. I should work on freezing what I grow if I can get enough of a crop this year. You know, it seems like I can't get enough of a crop. Yeah, and eggs. I mean, peppers and onions are great in everything. And then there's a spice store that I like in New England that I go to, and it's called Atlantic Spice Company. You can buy your spices in bulk there, and it's cheap, and they're good quality. They have dehydrated red and green bell peppers that you buy in a big bag. So I do those a lot of times in eggs too, and they're really good. I put those in everything. I love those dehydrated. I love those dehydrated peppers that I get. I love that company. I love everything they have. I have not gotten a spice from them yet that I didn't like. But a couple summers ago, we had a ton of zucchini and summer squash. And this was like before I discovered the beauty of zoodles. So I was making pasta and putting zucchini and squash in it, and it was so good. It was like magic. You know? I know, I'm like starving now. Yeah, I didn't have them either until I saw them from this company, and Atlantic Spice Company is what it's called. They're right down the street from my grandmother. So every time I go and you buy all the spices they have, they sell in bulk, so that you can't buy little tubs. They send it to you in big bags. And they ship anywhere. I've had stuff shipped from them. And they have like essential oils and everything you could think of. And the inside of the store smells so good. It must be that good green stuff you're growing in your basement, Lori. Giving you the munchies. I like this weird thing. But I also like this conjured. The Amish are good at everything. Everything the Amish do, like everything they touch is just magic. You know, you give them a tree and they make like gorgeous furniture. Oh yeah, I forgot. You guys just build your houses right there on the dirt. A lot of houses here are like that too. I was surprised this place had a basement like it did. But it wasn't always. You could tell it had been dug out. You know, and the walls are made out of dirt. Oh, I have no idea. The place I'm talking about is Atlantic Spice Company. I don't know what the place in Pennsylvania is called. But you know, like the Amish, they really do. They like make magic out of everything they touch. You know, give them wood, they make furniture. Give them a horse, they do they have an entire farm operation going on like crazy. I've had lots. I've had not lots, but quite a few pieces of Amish furniture in my family in my life. You know, and I love their furniture. It doesn't get much more real than the Amish furniture. You won't find any particle air. So the only thing I don't like about these Avery glue sticks, besides the fact that sometimes they leave like trails of booger globs, is that when it gets to the end, you still have a little ways to go, but it doesn't let it push itself up all the way. Other than that, though, these are my favorite glue sticks. Bar none. When it comes to cheap ones, anyway. Because I just can't justify the money for those Elmer Extremes. you know? I know. I know. And they don't care either. They're like, whatever. You are stuck. I know with some of their like religious practices are a little out there for me. Not really, interested. Some of the weirdness. But man, they can make a piece of furniture. Yeah, 2 miles an hour. And you're stuck there, and it's always when you have to be someplace. Actually, one of the pictures I have in here is a picture of an Amish person. I wonder if you weren't supposed to take their picture. It was in National Geographic magazine. Because, like, Amish are totally National Geographic worthy. Way more National Geographic worthy than I am, for sure. They'll find nothing cool about my civilization. They'll be like, oh, look at this, a fat girl sitting there gluing paper. That's what they'll say. That's what they'll say about me. And National Geographic. I should call them and tell them to come over. Come on over and see a spectacle. This guy's cool. Look at him going crazy on a roller coaster with scissors and some kind of electrical stuff. He belongs in here in this book of crazy. Oh, I bet you they flip out. Because to themselves, they're not a spectacle. They don't realize that they are to us. Homeless people in Boston also do that. They don't like when you take their picture too much. I tried one time. They got mad. Luckily, I was in a car. And I was only like a teenager. I don't think I would do that now. I don't think I would try and take their picture now. Yeah, it's part of their religion. The photographs. Like some of that stuff is kind of, some of their belief system is a little different for me, but there's a lot of belief systems that are a little different for me. I'm kind of different than most belief systems. Well, you do, pretty much. I mean, think about how people are these days with selfies and stuff. They don't have souls. Selfies every 5 seconds. I know a girl. She takes a selfie every single day. She takes a selfie every single day. I mean, you're not going to tell me that she has a soul left.
Oh, that's the stripping off a tree.
Unless maybe it's not soul stealing if you take your own picture. But if... Am I buffering again? I thought I was over this buffering stuff. I thought it was a thing of the past here. Am I back yet? Oh, good, good, good. I don't know why. I don't know. Yeah, because nobody's watching Netflix in my house, and I know my internet isn't the greatest, but for it to just randomly buffer really hard like that, it did the same thing last night to one that I was watching. She would just start buffering, and I had to refresh every single time, like every few minutes. Or when it would start buffering, I'd have to like wait a minute and then once YouTube said, oh, you know, tap here to retry, then I would have to do it every single time. You know? It's like I can't help but wonder if it's me or if it is the tuber of Uber. Yeah, like even people that never buffered, ever, watch now are buffering. You know, and I understand that everybody's internet is different and it acts different at different times and yada, 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 but yeah, I definitely think it is the tuber. Yeah. Once you watch the recording, there's no buffering. Like last week, I had a problem. My computer, like, needed to be rebooted because this computer is old. It's ancient in computer years. It's from 2009, so it's an antique. And so it needed to be rebooted. It had something running in the background. I don't know. It's probably a virus. It's probably slowly eating away at my stuff. But anyway, and the whole computer was just running like crap. So I had to reboot the whole computer because my whole screen apparently was just white, you know, fuzz, just a white fuzz screen. And that showed up on the recording too. You just see like white streaky gunk all over the screen from the YouTubes. So that was my fault. But then once you watch the recording, it's gone. There's never any buffering. It doesn't show any skips or anything weird. Once in a blue moon, there's like a little bit of sound. I don't notice anything. This girl belongs on this weird circle-y thing that I thought was a face at first, but it's definitely way too weird to be a face. Well, beautiful ladies, I do have to get going because it is bedtime for my oldest. And we're really trying to stay strict with the same bedtime every week. The wrinkles on this blanket, I thought it was wrinkles in the paper, so I'm like, get out of there, but it's not. But I will definitely be back next Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I know it looks like it, but it's definitely not. It's weird. I don't know what we'll be working on next week. We'll see how far I get with things this week. And by things, I mean gluing scraps of paper on manila folders. Maybe next week we'll start to put together my my die cut journal, my die cut supply book. You know, so long as it's not super boring stuff. Look at how much carpet tape. I put carpet tape around the fold in the folder. Look at how much carpet tape I've been through. It's like a ton of carpet. This roll was huge. It was probably like out to here. So I've been through a lot of carpet tape. I'm going to go through more before it's over. But I'm really thankful that you all came to hang out, and maybe work on that next week, or we might start working on my recipe journal that I'm making, my recipe book for my husband for his birthday. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm so thankful you all came to hang out. This was a lot of fun. I love doing this every week. This is fun. And it's relaxing. It's nice having, you know, my nice group of people show up. And I'll be making videos during the week. And I'm going to post a video where I started fixing all of the parts that I stapled in here. So in the video, I know that I say that I'm going live, but it's probably not going to be uploaded until tomorrow. So no, I won't be going live tomorrow night. I'm sorry in advance. But I'll be around. You'll be seeing me in other people's live streams. So have a good night, everybody. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thanks for hanging out. Ta-ta.